the question is, how do you pronounce the Japanese r sound? Um, oh boy. Okay, from an American, I've been studying Japanese probably for 6 years on and off, 3 years very seriously, maybe another year kind of seriously after that. Sounds utsuru. It's like a r. It's a flip of the tongue, just like you would do if you're rolling your r, the r. Um, but it's a single one of those followed by pulling your tongue kind of back and down. So we're gonna have a very uncomfortable few screens here where we're just going over kind of mouth position, which I think is probably the most important part of getting that R sound down. So, all right, the first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna make the sound right before you actually pronounce a duh. So put your tongue where it would be right before you actually make the duh sound. So duh. Here we go. Here we go. We're gonna try and get it on video. Duh, 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 duh. Right there. Duh. You see how you're kind of making a cup over the top of your mouth with your tongue? So it's like this, where you've made a seal over the top of your mouth with your tongue, where you can't breathe out unless it's coming just through the front of that, just right there. See that? All right. So you're gonna hold your tongue firmly on both sides of the top of your mouth and keep the front of your tongue loose. So it's like this. And then you're going to exhale. So the front of your tongue is rapidly slapping the top of your mouth. I told you this was going to be an awkward video. So if you do it and you just get this sound where it's just kind of, you're holding the front of your tongue too hard. It needs to be completely loose on the front, those still attached to the top, but completely loose. And the sides are still kind of tensed up. So it's right. So if you've got the front of your mouth loose, but just the sides tense, it should turn into, then add some intonation and you've got. So what you're going to do for the Japanese R sound is just make one of those R's from a little farther back than you would make the normal D sound where it's right up against your teeth. You're going to pull it back a little bit. So if I make the D sound, it sounds like duh rather than duh. Da, 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 da. So you're going to pull it back maybe, half a centimeter, not even that, from the front of your teeth or from your teeth, and then pull back and down and make a single ra sound. I know that's a lot, but the end product is ra, ra, or ri, or ru, or ro, whichever one you're trying to make. I've seen another video. Let's go ahead and pull it up just so you guys can get it. House music. Right, this guy's video. So
YouTube. This is Taiki, and today I want to talk about.
This is Taiki, and he's gonna go over. Shoot.
Is da, da. Do it about 10 times. Da.
So his explanation is something like, make the da sound, da 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 da, and then make the la sound, la 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 la, where there's kind of like, imagine if the da sound completely cups your mouth, the la sound is like your mouth kind of making, like if this is the roof of your mouth, the la sound comes from this, the da sound comes from this, and the la sound comes somewhere between those, where like still got a little bit of space on the right and left side of your tongue where there's a la sound coming. Not la, but it's la, 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 la. His ra sound is a little bit too much like an L. It's, in most videos you'll hear it more like a ra than a la. So let's finish
Da,
his explanation.
da, 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 la, da, la, da, and la, there's a gap.
Right there.
Da, la. You see there's a gap in between the tongue placements. Between da and la, there's a gap. So that's where you want your tongue to be. In the middle of da and la. So make it closer, make it closer. Da, la, da, la, da, la, 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 la. That's how you pronounce the R sound in Japanese. So
his Japanese R sound is like a ra, ra. It's not duh or la, but and if you just make the normal kind of English ra, that's too much It's like la. Like you need to keep your tongue a little bit closer to L for that. I don't like this video as much as the next video I'm about to show you because that one is a little bit too close to L, I think. And while that word, don't get me wrong, that is a fine pronunciation of la. But I think other video probably a better, at least for most Japanese that I've heard it. It's more of a hitting that R. More like what you're talking about, where it's like, it sounds more like a rolled R with ra. Here it is. Okay. This is a Japanese teacher going over it. And listen to the way
English
she says the
R
word.
used. Japanese R sounds such as larirurero are actually different from both an English R and the English L sound. Don't roll your tongue. The top of your mouth with the L sound. When you say aru in Japanese, you lightly tap the roof of your mouth with the tongue. Don't roll your tongue. The tongue taps the same place that it does when you say d sounds. I'll show you the differences. Please listen carefully. English R sound is ra and English L sound is la. Japanese aru sound is la. Let's have a look at some examples. Kirai,
That sounded like la.
ゆっくり、よろしくお願いします。
よろしく。
これ、
これ。
うるさい。
うるさい。
I hope this helps you with these sounds.
So her kind of way of pronouncing it sounds a little bit more, at least when she's saying the words themselves, sounds a little bit more like the R roll that you've been talking about. And I think while I kind of agree with her that it's not a rolled R, I will disagree because when you watch a Japanese gangster film or something, you literally hear them rolling their R's when they get angry. Krustere! And they're literally rolling their R's, just like Mexican people do when they're pronouncing things. It is a rolled R, but only in that sense. But only in that one location is the krustere. It's a light tap of the R. Arimaska. It's yeah, that's the best way I can explain it. It's like yeah, just try and make that D sound with the cup of your tongue. Arimaska. So yeah, I hope that helped, and I hope the mouth thing wasn't too bad. But the best way I can explain it is try and roll your R, do the R, and try and do a single one. Arimaska. My R's might not be perfect. Japanese friends have been telling me that the D is almost a little too strong for me. So maybe I do need to move a little bit more towards the L side of things, but practice is king here, baby, just like everything else in Japanese. Good luck. Good bowling.